we're back with Todd and Dan from Droids Canada. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
To get started, just explain to our listeners or our viewers, who may not have seen your show before. Give us the Cliff Notes version, because you guys have a lot of different stuff going on.
Quite a bit of stuff.
Well, you don't know much about it.
Well, Todd is the creator, the godfather of Droids Canada. So I'm going to send this one over here.
We started it on December 2nd, 2012. It was just a fan page on Facebook. It wasn't anything big. Then one day I met up with some friends, and they were doing a podcast on an iPhone 4.
Oh, wow.
And I laughed hysterically, left, and bought a studio. He can vouch for that. He watched me build it. Pretty much, I got into podcasting, like most people do, because of Kevin Smith, because of Chris Hardwick, because of Mark Maron and all them. And I was like, I could do something fun like this. And coming from a background of film, and because at one point, Mark Ballinger, do you know Mark Ballinger? He works here-ish sometimes. Mm-hmm. Me and him built our own company. We were shooting all these films all over Welland. We used to be very popular for it. And we grew up. That was the problem. So when I came back to Droids Canada, this became my new outlet, my new way to express myself creatively. So, and then it just turned out to be, what did it start off on? The Walking Dead. That was the hot button thing. That was the hot thing to talk about. And now it just turned into a pop culture show, with about 25,000 listeners, and we travel to Comic-Cons all over North America. So it's been a lot of fun. That's the easy way to put it.
2012, yeah.
It's quite the journey.
We're going on 3 years, but you guys have laughed us once over.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, it's a building process, the starting out small, and then, every year just seems to grow more and more, getting more listeners, getting more fans, and yeah, it's been a fun journey so far.
Sure.
I think there's sort of been a revolution, especially in nerd culture, because like you said, you have a lot of these people who started listening to Kevin Smith, and they look around and they go, well, I have a mic and whatever. Maybe I can do my show. If you had a piece of advice for anybody that wants to start their own podcast or start their own video cast, what would you guys offer to them?
I would say don't do it unless you're going to be 110% in. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of research going into this. Instead of just saying, I'm going to have my little phone and I'm going to start recording with 30,000 voices in the room, I sat down and I listened to all these different shows. I listened to the high-end ones and the low-end ones. And if people want to actually put a lot of time in podcasting, actually put the effort behind it. Don't just slap it up with some background noise. Mm-hmm. Make it. Droids Canada went from a hobby to pretty much a full-time business because it became something that is my passion and what I wanted to do. If you want to be into it, you got to be 110% into it. You can't just this week I'll release an episode, because if you don't have a schedule, no one's going to listen to you. Mm-hmm. If you're not releasing one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yes.
That's me being overkill. Typically it's Monday. No one's going to know you're there. No one's going to check to see your shows are there. It's the same thing with YouTube. If you don't have that weekly episode, no one's going to know you're there.
Okay. And my whole part of it is also you have to have the passion and the enjoyment behind. You have to have fun. You have to be dedicated, like he said, with the dedication. It's constant recording, constant editing, and we do everything ourselves. And when I say that, I'm going to say Todd does pretty much everything himself too. Meeting all the different personalities, all the different characters that are out there, and just continuously trying something new and not being afraid to do that. So the enjoyment factor is a big deal with it as well.
What's that like? Since you guys started from 2012 and you're making your way through, what's that like to have the engagement with people who say, you guys are Droids Canada? Can we have a word with you? Can we talk? What's that like to work that hard and to have
be recognized?
Yeah, be recognized.
It's pretty mind-blowing because, for the first 2 years, no one knew who I was. I'm handing out these really crappy business cards. The logo was horrible 3 years ago. To now we go to a Comic-Con and they're there's kind of promoters that are like, you're not coming? What do you mean you're not coming? We unfortunately had to cancel a couple dates this year because he's going to be out of town, and then financially, going into the States last seconds is not going to work for us, right? Because we got invited to, what is it, Great Philadelphia Comic-Con?
Yeah, Philadelphia.
But that's the thing, I guess, even if you're local here, if you're doing all these shows,
the local cons are fantastic. We have a good working relationship with Chris Dabrowski and James Ponce. They run Niagara Falls, Hamilton, and Frightmare was the first year for them last year, right?
Yeah, this year was first year for Frightmare.
And it's fantastic working with them. if you went to Niagara Falls last year, we worked the Walking Dead booth.
Yes, we interviewed the Rick Grimes actor.
Yeah,
from
Cecil.
That.
Cecil,
yeah.
yeah.
Cecil.
Yeah, we worked for Cecil for that entire weekend. They were very accommodating and fantastic to work with.
We had a amazing special effects artist named Jen out in Halifax. She
Flew in just for the show.
She flew in for the show.
The zombies looked great at that booth. Yeah.
She did me up as Zombie Shane.
Yeah, you know what? He's got.
That's right.
He got the look.
No, we had to put the
They
nose
broke my
bump,
nose
yeah.
and everything.
Oh,
so
that's dedication
and that was
there,
that was a blast, just walking around, not saying anything, just like staring at people, and it was good times.
So, how long would you say it takes for you to put together a show, start to finish?
Like a podcast show?
Yeah.
I do a quick listen to it, but beyond that, it doesn't take me long to build it out.
I'm gonna kind of say a little bit different because something that we do, like our show is, we are pop culture driven, but we're also off topic. Like we can start something up on the lines of, the Justice League movie. How was it? 30 seconds later, we are talking about something completely different, maybe
Like
Urban
the
Dictionary,
peacock,
Which one?
the comfort pet, the peacock. Were you there for that
From
show?
the
I was not
airplane?
there for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I went on like a 15-minute rant about that.
Yeah, we just start on something and we always end up on something else, and quite often we'll take a little break and then 30 minutes later we're still talking about whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a degree of freedom for being in a podcast? Because we'd love
Absolutely.
to do that on the show here, but
That's
we're,
actually what this show was supposed to be originally.
With
And-
podcasting, you're not held down to a lot of the laws. You can say what you want. And it's good, it's bad. I mean, there's people out there that have podcasts that should not have podcasts. And there's some people out there that's nice to have the creative freedom. It's nice to be able to say what you want at your own discretion, because there's going to be someone who's listening that's eventually
No,
going
it's
to get upset with
definitely
you.
engaging material. I was listening to it, trying to get the most I could in, but I was listening to it and while I'm doing other work, and it's not that I trailed off, but I'm listening to it. I'm listening to everything, and the cool thing was, you guys have these voices for the radio. Is it your voice who starts off the show? It's a very deep voice.
It's kind of a mixture of all of ours. Like literally, I'm known for one thing: the word "hello" in the deep voice. But like all of us who are on the show, we all kind of do little bits to it as well. And yeah, that's just how we make it. Like the other great fun part, like I was going to add on to Todd's as well, which I really enjoy, is the creation of what we do. We'll sometimes sit there in the studio and just let's do a promo today, and then we'll just start, and we'll just start doing different voices, and we're just laughing, and hours that we log doing this.
We've made our own versions of the Clerks 1 trailer, the Clerks 2 trailer.
wow.
Pretty much, if you played it during the actual trailer, it lines up.
Well, what I was trying to say though, it sounds professional, and I'm listening to
Thank
it, and all of a sudden you guys, I met this guy at the Ice Dogs game, and I was like,
Oh,
wait
Bill.
a second,
Yeah.
I've gone to the Ice Dogs game, and you remember these guys are local, you have the guys who put so much dedication and
We
professional
recently
work in.
partnered with the Meridian Center to help promote WWE NXT.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
And that's another thing they highlight. You guys have podcasts on the wrestling, and that's refreshing to see
It was
someone.
great.
That's,
I got to yell out "super kick" like so many times this one night.
Yeah, the
pissing
one
off his
time we
neighbors.
actually distracted, did we distract?
Oh,
Andre.
oh,
We
oh.
call him Other Guy
Yeah.
from NXT.
Yeah,
he would
actually
sit
got
there and go, hello. Every time he looked, he goes, hello. And eventually the guy went, what do you want?
So, oh yeah, no, it was one of the guys from Sanity.
Eric
he gave me
Young.
the
It
wave
was Eric
back.
Young,
He
yeah.
gave me the wave back.
pretty
But
sweet.
we actually got our section chanting "other guy." What's
No one knew
going
his
on?
name, so we just gave him a name.
So yeah, it's just we're just a bunch of guys having
But
fun.
we
It
have,
sounds like it.
we have a good, I wouldn't say a household name, I wish, but that when people hear Droids Canada, they know that we have a podcast. They know that we work with a lot of different companies to help promote themselves, and obviously in exchange of promoting ourselves as well. I mean, we have traveled as south as Phoenix, Arizona for a Comic-Con. We went out to Montreal last year or the year before?
It was year before.
Year before.
Yes.
Last year we ended at 16 conventions.
Well,
Never again.
speaking of cross promotion, that is unfortunately the end of our episode. Thank you so much for coming on. It was great talking with you guys. You're on Twitter.
Yep.
I think you have a Facebook.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Let this guy.
Facebook
we make
and
him
Twitter.
talk about every single.
I didn't memorize the
platform
card
that we're
yet. I mean,
Well, what's the website we can check you?
Droidscanada.com.
And
Okay.
from there, it's there's a plethora of stuff you guys can go on to,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's
yes.
right.
And the podcast is up on iTunes,
Stitcher
and
Radio,
Stitcher Radio, so anywhere.
Google Play,
Laughable.
which was that comedian app, and
Yep.
Spotify.
Can't miss you.
And as for us, we are, of course, on Twitter. We have Facebook. We have Instagram. There's the email we never check, so be sure to drop us a line if you want to come on and talk with us. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming out to the show.
Appreciate
and
it, guys. Thank you.
It's been great talking with you.
Cool.
Thank you.